Now we have scheduled this conversation that actually I've been looking for this conversation for a long time. I was looking forward to it for a long time, and it's with Tara Chklovski. She is actually, and I hope that I pronounced correctly your last name.
I don't say it
and
correctly.
And she is the founder of Technovation. Tara, truly a pleasure, because we've been collaborating with Technovation abroad, actually in the Canary Islands, with Jamila Wenceslao. I've been talking actually to Ophelia, everyone in your team, and finally I have the opportunity to talk to you.
Great to meet you, Maica. Yeah, awesome.
Really nice meeting you. So I've been aware that Technovation is something that, of course, you're the founder of Technovation, but I'm actually surprised that Technovation here in the United States is not as well known as it is abroad. And the impact that sometimes I see, it's true, it's true. Globally, you say Technovation and everyone is like, woo, Technovation, the Technovation Challenge. You see all the girls super excited. And here you say Technovation and people are like, So please enlighten all our audience and share your work. And please, the first question is, what is Technovation?
So it's a competition. It's a global competition for girls aged 10 to 18 to find problems in their community and create a technology startup, basically, and to walk in an entrepreneur's journey. And we have been working in this, doing this program for since 2013. And but I started the nonprofit. We were called Iridescent before in 2006. So actually I got the dates wrong. So Technovation, the first year of the Technovation Challenge was 2010. And so we've been doing this for 14, 15 years. And you are very correct in sort of, I think in Silicon Valley and in the US itself, Technovation is not as well known, and we've really puzzled over that quite a bit. And I think some of it is that the entrepreneurial community is very rich, and it's very competitive, and I think it's a good thing. There's a lot going on, and so I think in other countries, there are fewer technology entrepreneurship opportunities across the board, and I think that's what we're trying to change. But there's lesser competition, especially for girls. So I think it's a good thing that there are lots and lots of players in the U.S. Thinking this problem. We still have the problem. There are not enough women tech startup founders, you know. So I think. Even though it's a crowded space, we're not making too much of an impact, and we've got to change that.
Thanks, Dada. Actually, you know, I have a soft spot for Technovation because, as I mentioned to you, we've been given visibility to Jam3 and the girls also in the Canary Islands. I mean, there are now women. Actually, Adi, one of our speakers earlier, took them to the hackathon in London that they also won. So we are super excited to talk to you. But also one of the things, and I want to remark the importance of your work, is that we are nurturing the future generations and showing them possibilities actually to become those future entrepreneurs and those women that have access to technology. So we can start designing technology as well that is favorable towards women. So how do you think the importance of Technovation in that sense?
I think, yeah, and I think it's a very hard problem, right? Because there's no country in the world that has gender equality, and hardly any women in positions of leadership, influence, power. I think the executive director of UN Women posted something saying that less than 6 or 7% of women are involved in peacemaking negotiations in countries, right? And so if 93% of sort of the world leaders who are dealing with these kind of very important, like, are we going to go to war or are we going to build, are not representative of the broader community, I mean, it just keeps going down from there. And I just think that technology is such a powerful tool where one person can make a huge impact. And if you're not providing these, and the entrepreneurship mindset is exactly the same, right? Like, that's a problem, that software or that product is not good enough, I can make it better. but that mindset is a very special mindset. And I think no country in the world provides that kind of message in a very clear way to all the girls, right? That's why no country has women in leadership, leading technology companies um, in sort of a 50-50 way. And so there's so much work to be done. And I think we've been doing this for more than 14 years, and we still see the problem is very big and very complex. And so it just needs a lot of patience, and especially during COVID, right? Like women are being affected by COVID in multiple ways. Domestic violence has increased. They are the frontline health workers, so their health is at stake. Their nutrition is low, so they're more prone to disease and viruses and infections. And third, when they're at home, even if they're professionals, even if they're women scientists, they have to look at the children and their education. So they have a triple burden. So their work is suffering. I think in the US, they said 90,000 women may step out of the workforce this year because of COVID. And so I think education, and especially education of women, is the closest thing we have to a silver bullet. And it's not easy. And we have to start when they're very young. And that's why Technovation exists. And I think we wouldn't be able to do it without people like you, right? We just provide a curriculum on our platform, and we open it up and we make it as a competition, and we're constantly looking at the data to see how can we better support girls, but we wouldn't be able to do it without champions like you, honestly, right? Like, so I think that's what makes me, like, this year has been very, very hard personally, I like for everybody, right? But every time we would connect with girls and see, and like with mentors and volunteers, and you're like, okay, we're part of a global community, and this is an important problem, and if we are not doing this, then who will do this? So we owe it to our young people, and we owe it to our young girls.
I have one of my uncivilized propositions to you, since I also had another from the other speakers earlier, and we're starting to write all of this down, this call of actions for next year. So basically, I've been talking to different people of your team, and we were thinking that definitely next year we should bring some representation and pitches to the global conference. It would be super cool to give visibility also to teams from Technovation, from these girls from around the world, and we can talk about it in a coffee, because I know that you're also in the Bay Area, so we can.
I would love to.
And
I would love to.
I'm plan on that one as well, and also give visibility to the projects through Heroikka as well, and so other women and also inspire and find maybe other role models as well in the platform. One of the things that I want you to shout out right now, what Technovation needs, what it would be the call of action that you will ask to the community and to all the audience that is listening to us right now.
Yeah, so earlier this year, because of COVID, we had roughly a 20% decrease in girls finishing the full program. Because, I mean, entrepreneurship is not an easy journey. Everyone knows this, right? But that's what we need for the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report says these are the kinds of skills: complex systems thinking, empathy, problem solving, critical thinking, looking at information and saying this is fake news or not, right? Like, these are all very, very important skills. And COVID has reduced everybody's energy, right? Everybody's, our mind space is taken up with a lot of negative stuff, a lot of different stresses. And so we are not seeing as many girls stand up and say, we want to tackle this challenge, because their mentors are not there, their friends are not there. And so we need help to spread the word. So each person reaches out to any girl you know in your life and say, sign up for this program, because you can spend your time feeling stressed about yourself, or you can direct that energy and say, I see somebody else having a harder problem, I'm going to help them. And the moment you start thinking about somebody else, you stop thinking about yourself, and your stress reduces. And so I think that learning new skills, preparing yourself for the future, but helping others, I mean, this is win down the line, right? But it's going to take effort, and without a human being going and telling another girl and saying, you know what, I believe you'll be awesome, and we need you, and I'll help you. So you sign up as a mentor, and you get a girl to sign up for this experience, and that's what we need.
Perfect. Where they can find their information so they can sign up as mentors?
Yes, totally. Technovation.org or technovationchallenge.org. Those websites, and yeah, I think we need every person who raises their hand and says, I'm going to support a girl.
Great. Last question, and well, I have two more, I think, but my next question is probably if you can actually summarize a little bit of the program,
Yeah.
and what is the role of the ambassadors as well, so people can have an idea of it.
Yeah, totally. So the curriculum or the program is roughly a 3-month program, but you can start now, and there's a hard deadline of April 19th, and girls work in teams of 2, 3, 4 with a mentor, and now of course it's virtual, which actually makes it easier because you don't have to be geographically located, and you can have a fantastic experience working with a team of girls from different countries, different time zones, different cultures. And then the first stage is of course the team formation, and figuring out the team dynamics, understanding how this is going to work. It's very much the traditional typical tech startup experience. The second step is, as a mentor, understanding your role. You go from sort of an instructor's role where you're providing some knowledge to that of a coach where you are going to watch and let them figure things out, help them sort of navigate problems, things. But there's a mentor training that we offer, so that you don't need any prior technical background, no prior mentoring experience, but we will set you up for success. And then the third stage is find a meaningful problem in your community. And this is actually a very, very hard challenge because most people are given things to do. Most of us report to others, right? Most of us are told, here are the things, here are our goals, here are our KPIs. Very few people are given a blank slate and says, okay, let's try to figure it out. So actually, this is a very hard part of the program, but it's also the most valuable part because that's invention. And so then you have to find a problem that's meaningful, and then you actually start to sort of learn how to build a mobile app, or it could be an AI prototype, and walk through the traditional sort of prototyping experience, collect feedback from users, community members, what is their problem, how will this technology solution help them, and then understand the platform. So either it can be an Android app or it can be an iOS app, and you see what is the language, like we use Thunkable or we use MIT App Inventor. These are visual block-based languages. They're limiting, but they're also powerful because without any technical background, you can do a lot. So you have to understand the technology platform and then adapt your features. And then very quickly, you're towards the end of the program, you have to try to figure out what is your business plan, how many people are going to use it, what is the cost of it, how are you going to deploy it, how are you going to market it, and then write it all up in a business plan. So you have to support the girls to do it. Your role is to help them navigate these sections, but let them deal with the challenges as they're going through. And then the hard deadline for submitting your app, your prototype, your demo video, your pitch video, your business plan is April 19th. And then your job has paused for a bit because honestly, like you stay connected to these girls for years because you're their mentor, and you're going to help them as they navigate through different sections in their life. But that's sort of the experience of a typical technology tech startup founder, which is what you're enabling. And like I said, we survive only because of amazing volunteers, and we have roughly, I forget, like 100 or 150 regional ambassadors worldwide, or chapter ambassadors, and we rely on them to build a community of mentors, recruit girls, and help them in a particular region, like Maica, you've been doing, and that's the only way we survive. So if you're excited about bringing Technovation to your community, to your school, and are able to, especially underrepresented groups, then reach out to us, and we can discuss becoming a chapter ambassador.
For sure, we're going to put your information also in the website of the summit, and we will see also how we can bring, other bridges to your organization as well. Dada, any final thoughts that you want to share with the audience and the whole community?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we're going into another sort of COVID winter, and I think we kind of have a sense of what to expect. My recommendation would be to think about people who are sort of not normally in the tech startup communities. And one group is, of course, women and girls. Another group is seniors, your grandparents. And I think they are particularly sort of lonely and at risk. But young people have so much to learn from them, and technology, in some sense, opens up all these doors. So I would say, if you're thinking about making your tech startup team, actually think about inviting some grandparents or some senior people, because they will add so much diversity of thought and experience to your product. That, I mean, that's the heart of innovation. And I think because of COVID, everybody's online, so we don't have to sit and complain, but we can actually leverage and amplify what these allow us to do. And it's all about human connections.
Dada, thank you so much. I was really excited to talk to you. Thank you for sharing your work and for all the work that you're doing, not only here, but also abroad. We really, really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Maica. It was great to meet you, and I hope we stay in touch and have that coffee.
We will.
All right, bye.
Ciao.